This is the new MX Cinder Foam Runner, and I got them directly from Adidas for 90 bucks, but I wanted to find out if they were really worth the money.
And we're even going to compare them to a few similar models to see how they match up.
These released last week as part of Adidas making the decision to sell more Yeezys again after their partnership formally ended with Kanye last year. And this is the first new pair of foam runners to release since all that happened. Now, foam runners have historically been one of the most popular shoes for their simplicity and comfort, but I wasn't sure if anything changed in the production of this pair since it had been so long since Adidas released any new colors of these shoes. So the first thing I had to test out was their comfort, since this was the most prominent thing that foam runners are known for. So the foam runner has a very unique design that is entirely made up of one type of material. It's a very soft foam that's similar to Yeezy slides, but maybe not quite as comfortable. And we'll actually test that out later. But even though your foot is exposed when you wear the shoe, the design of these somehow makes them feel really comfortable, especially around the heel. If you just test it out like this, you can just feel so much cushion around your ankle. But comfort is only one half the battle in any shoe, because you have to make sure you're wearing the right size to ensure the comfort is the best it can be. And that actually brings up an extremely relevant topic with these, and a lot of other Yeezys to be honest, in that most have very strange sizing inconsistencies. Especially with these, like other pairs in the past, have fit pretty small. And that was the next thing to test with this pair. And getting them on, it seems like the trend is being continued again. In most Yeezys, you typically want to go up a half size since they fit rather small, but with foam runners, they're only made in full sizes, so it makes the sizing decision a little more difficult. So my suggestion is that if you wear your shoes a little more snug to begin with, or are afraid these might be just a little too small, then just go up to that next size to play it safe. No matter what you do though, I would not recommend going down any sizing in these. But now that you know the sizing and that they're comfortable, both are great on their own, but you want to make sure you're wearing a shoe that actually looks good too. And to that, if we break these down to really look at the design and colors, there's most prominently some light blue on the toe that changes to some black in the middle, and then eventually leads to a mix of some shades of brown towards the back of the heel. Now, I'm not gonna lie that to someone unfamiliar with the shoes, I could totally see how someone might think this colorway in particular looks kind of weird and might just look like a pair of dirty, muddy shoes. Like the brown on the heel outside of the context of Yeezys might just look pretty crazy. But to those who have seen some Yeezys before, especially other colorways that have a similar overall design to these, I think they actually work pretty well. Now, looks are great up until you actually have to go and spend some money. So even though they look pretty cool, where can you buy a pair of these and how much will they cost you? Well, the easy answer is that they're currently sold out on Adidas, as Adidas did a quick raffle on the Adidas Confirmed App to release their pairs for their retail price of 90 bucks last week and sold out as soon as the raffle ended. So if you want to grab a pair, you'll have to look to the secondary market on marketplaces like GOAT, StockX, or Flight Club. And I've used pretty much every marketplace that exists, and they all have their own different policies around authentication to ensure that you're getting the shoe that you ordered. I have some links to the ones I mentioned in the description down below, but before you go and make a purchase, I know I at least like to make sure I'm getting what I truly want, especially when spending a good amount of money like this. So to compare these even further to shoes that are similar to these, I grabbed those Yeezy slides I mentioned earlier, a pair of Crocs, and a pair of Yeezy 350s to compare the comfort and look in each one. Now, foam runners are meant to be a shoe that's easy to wear, have a little bit of a different look, especially in this colorway, and are something that's really comfortable. Now, I think all these other options could also actually fit that description. So at least for the Yeezy 350, these typically cost a little more and might actually be a little more comfortable too, but are more of a traditional shoe type feel. Where with a pair of Crocs, you get probably the closest comparison to a foam runner. Now, these Crocs are a collaboration with Salehi Bembury and are only one solid color that do look somewhat similar and actually aren't quite as comfortable as foam runners. And going further in the opposite direction, moving from a shoe to a slide, we get some Yeezy slides which are very much like a pair of sandals opposed to a shoe, but might actually be a little more comfortable than foam runners. So depending on where you fall on the comfort scale and the overall look that you want out of your shoes, if the foam runner checks all the right boxes for you, especially in this specific colorway, then I think they're a great shoe to pick up.